Okay, the Royal Government arc was a test, wasn't it? It was a test to see if you are dedicated enough and if you deserve to experience the Return to Shiganshina arc. It's not quite a 10 arc for me. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10, which does make it my favourite arc so far. I can't get over a lot of the developments in this. Oh my god, I just feel like so much happened. And there was like this string of chapters in, I guess, more like the middle towards the end, where literally all hell was breaking loose and I wasn't sure who was gonna make it out alive, essentially. Like, the stakes were actually really high and I was so worried for some of it because, for instance, when they're in Shiganshina and it looks like a character dies but then they don't die. Like, say Reina, for instance, when Eren is fighting Reina and it looks like Reina is dead but he's actually not, I was like, oh god, this is gonna pull a One Piece, isn't it? Because I love One Piece with everything I have, but I don't like the fake out deaths. And it happened again with Armin. And at that point I was like, I didn't want him to die. But after what he did, like with the Colossus Titan, and he gets so close to him that it literally like burns him alive. And I'm like, how does anyone survive that? And Armin was on the rooftop and he was breathing. And I was like, there's no way, there's absolutely no way. So I was like, okay, it's starting to lose me again. Because if there's anything I hate, it's a fake out death. And it's happened a couple of times now. It even happened with like Bertolt as well. And I wasn't believing that he was going to die anyway. But you know what saved that entire moment for me was I don't mind a fake out death if there is purpose. But what it turned into was a decision between Armin and Erwin, which one gets the injection to turn into a Titan and then eats Bertolt to get the Colossus Titan powers. Like, that came out of nowhere for me and I was like, oh my god, you know what? I love that. I love that so much. Especially since I was like, okay, just let Armin die. I don't want him to die, but I hate fake out deaths, so let him die. And then as soon as that injection, like, who are they going to choose kind of thing happened, I was like, you know what? This is actually genius. Like, I love this. And I feel so bad for Erwin as well. He never achieved his dream. He wanted to see the basement. And this was all just before they went into the basement and saw what happened. So, like, so much happened in this arc that I was just genuinely so excited for. So let me go back to the start. I feel like this arc, it does still have, like, the exposition. It still has the backstory. But I feel like it was done in a much better way than what we've had previously. Like, it felt like it was a little bit more purposeful whenever we were told something from the past or given some information, especially to do with Grisha, Eren's dad. Like, that whole thing with Marley and like all the stuff that was happening there and like outside the what? I didn't feel too overwhelmed. I mean, it's overwhelming information. We're still getting so much information, but I think it was like in a much more better way than we have had in the past. So I think at this point, the mangaka has definitely improved and the storytelling definitely got a lot better and a lot stronger here. I still wouldn't say it was like quite perfect to me just yet, which is why I'm giving it like an 8.5 and like not a little bit higher. Although I'm actually starting to reconsider that. Maybe I might give it a 9 out of 10. I don't know. Like, again, we'll find out at the end if I stick to the ratings and the rankings of the arcs. But I was very excited to go back to Shiganshina. I wanted to see how it looked. I wanted to see like how time had affected it. And yeah, time had definitely affected it. It kind of looked quite nice when some parts of it were being reclaimed by nature. And it just looked so desolate and so scary in a way too. Like, it was kind of peaceful but kind of not. Also the idea that Bertolt and Reina would be hiding somewhere, and all of that was like adding to the suspense and the scariness of it. And I love the fact that Armin got to take charge. Like, he was given his own little group and I was like, do you know how far he's come? Like, Armin, I'm so proud of you. The last time he was in Shiganshina, he was being beat up and he needed, you know, his friends to, well, he didn't ask them to, like, they just appear because they're great friends, but like he needed his friends to like save him from that. So the fact that we're back in Shiganshina, back where it all began, and Armin is a totally different person, I'm like, has anyone had a greater character arc in this series? I don't think so. So again, like, I would have been so sad if he had died, but when it looks like someone's gonna die, I want that to stick. Especially since we just had the fight between Eren and Reina, and honestly, Reina should not have been alive after that, but he was. Like, there was like this whole bullshit stuff about him transferring his consciousness or something. Yeah, he transferred his consciousness to the Titan's nervous system. I'm like, especially since the fight between them was so hard to begin with. Like, even Eren was trying to harden his own body so that he can get through the armor, and just having that battle strategy shows how much Eren has improved since the last time he was at Shiganshina, and even the last time he fought with Reina. I just feel like a win in that fight would have been deserved. And again, like, you're probably thinking, so you just want everyone to die, Gavin? Like, you want Reina to die? So, like, no. But, like, if someone looks like they're dead, stay dead. And I do find Reina very fascinating, though. I do still want to know more about the split personality thing he seems to have going on. I want to know more about, like, why he's doing certain things. I want to know more of his backstory and his history. So I'm kind of glad he's still alive, and we will figure more out about him in the future, I hope. So that was epic. Loved it as well when Bertolt turned into the Colossus Titan, and I laughed so much. I know I shouldn't have. I laughed so much when he actually kicked Eren, and Eren just went like flying into the wall. I don't know why, but I laughed. And at the same time as this, Levi is fighting with the Beast Titan, which again, is probably like one of my favorite fights from this arc. The fact that there are so many fights actually that are competing for my number one fight in this arc speaks volumes to it. I think it really did such a great thing with action and how that balanced with all of the plot reveals. So I'm really appreciative of that. I mean, the Beast Titan is still alive. I kind of, again, just wanted a win. I just wanted a win there. But at the same time, I don't want him to die because of who he turns out to be. He is Eren's older half-brother. He is the son of Grisha. When all of that was happening with the reveals with like the basement and stuff, I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, again, this is all over the place, but like not as much on the edge of my seat as when they were deciding who gets the injection. I do feel so bad for Erwin, but Armin is the man, the myth, the legend. He is the one who I feel like has just, well, he deserved it. He was the one who like took on the Colossus Titan himself. Well, I say took on. He like sacrificed himself to give Eren an opening. If anyone deserves to inherit the Colossus Titan powers, it's Armin. So I do feel like Armin deserved it. I mean, again, there is still an argument for Erwin, and that's kind of something that I think we're going to tackle going forward. Like with Armin, will he have survivor's guilt? Also, other people in like the military who gave them grief about like, oh, you chose Armin over Erwin because of your feelings. But it was so exciting. Like even Levi was about to give it to Erwin. I was like, and then he gave it Armin. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So yeah, Armin is now the Colossus Titan. I just never would have expected it. Seriously. Like from the very first page when we see that friggin' monster standing over the wall and how scared I was of him. Oh my god, like I'm not scared of him anymore, which is kind of sad. Like I kind of wanted to be still scared of the Titans throughout. But again, like now we know a lot more about them. They were humans. They were turned by the Mali government and they were pushed into paradise when all of the prisoners were like getting executed and stuff. So like that was incredibly hard to read. Oh my god, and as well like Grisha, his wife, who turned out to be the Titan who eats Eren's mother. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. Are you kidding? Oh my god, like even that whole like flashback sequence with the dad and the whole Marley stuff. And like, I'm not the biggest fan of, again, like things that lean heavily into like governments and power like that. You know, stuff like that just doesn't really like interest me all that much. But I am quite interested in, you know, Marley and the way that they've been going about this world. The fact that there are people outside of the walls. Learning more about like how the Titans came to be. And Ymir and splitting her soul into like the 9 Titans, I think it was. Honestly, there is like so much myth and lore to this. I will probably get it eventually. But now what Ymir said earlier on about being a goddess, that makes sense now, especially if she's named after one. So I do like the fact that this seems like things are coming together. Like some of the loose ends are being kind of tied up or, you know, connecting in a way that I thought, oh, maybe some parts of this feel like it's just being written in the moment and there's like not a whole lot of planning. But the manga has proven me wrong, especially with this arc. So yeah, getting into the basement was great. I loved how just normal it looked. It looked like such a normal basement. I was expecting some kind of experiments. Oh, I don't know. I just expected like corpses or like a titan down there or something. But no, it looked like a normal basement. And there were 3 books with the history in it and a lot of the truths that now everyone knows. It's been published. So that's good. We've definitely gotten a lot more progression with like the people in power and the government and the royalty kind of side of things and who should really be in power. So to learn about the owl, who was the attack titan, and then Grisha eating him when he got saved by the owl, and then knowing that Eren is the attack titan now, I was like, I think I realized at the same time as Eren, I was like, Eren, did you eat your dad? Oh my god, like, how traumatizing is that? Imagine you have no recollection of that, But there's no other way because Eren has inherited the power of the Attack Titan. So that must mean he ate his dad. So he's completely an orphan now. And you know what? I found it like kind of... I don't want to say beautiful, really. But I kind of find it poetic in a way. The fact that it was Grisha's old wife who got turned into a Titan was the one who ate Eren's mum, so Grisha's new wife. So the old wife ate the new wife. I don't know, like that's so weird, but also kind of poetic. I kind of like that. I love the fact that that connected. And again, I feel so bad for both of the mums. I feel bad for both the wives, and they deserved better. And you know what? I felt a little bit bad for Grisha too. I might have called him monster in a previous arc, and he kind of still is. Like, I feel bad for Historia's family and the way that he killed them, and especially Historia's half-sister Frida. Like, she didn't deserve to die at his hands. Like, that's so awful. But I could kind of understand in a way that he was fighting for Eldia, I think, and was trying to overthrow Marley. And you know, in war, there are casualties. You sometimes have to do things that you don't want to do, and it can make you question your own humanity. And so I do appreciate a lot of the stuff that Grisha had to go through. I feel so bad, especially about his sister being killed as well, when he just wanted to show her the airships. Like, that was traumatizing. Like, my heart broke for him and his sister. But yeah, he's kind of done some irredeemable things. I mean, him being in Eren's stomach now. I guess that's kind of like a fair kind of punishment for what he did. He also felt, especially when he wouldn't get up, when the owl was talking to him about it, and it looked like he'd given up on life. Like, he let the guilt in, and he wanted to like give up. Like, you can tell he feels guilty, and you can tell there's a lot of emotional baggage on him. So I'm trying to give him some grace. I also love the idea that history can be rewritten. Like, you could tell an entire nation of people what you want them to believe, and they could end up believing it. I love that theme. I love the fact that that's kind of holding up a mirror to our own society. Like, who do you believe? People in power or like other people? Like, it's very hard to know sometimes when you're consuming like history, like whose history it is, which side of history are you consuming. And when people are in power and they're abusing that power, it's very easy for them to manipulate the narrative. There's also a mention, like, when the owl talks to Grisha, he mentions Mikasa and Armin, and this is obviously before they're born. So who are Mikasa and Armin from beforehand? And why do the Mikasa and Armin from today have the same names as whoever the original Mikasa and Armin are? Like, what's the deal there? Why is that a thing? And also the fact that the owl is called Eren, and our main character is called Eren. What is the importance of that trio? What's the importance of those names? Like, explain. Because I think you do get the memories of the previous person when you consume them, which is what happened when Eren had touched Historia, and I think he got like his father's memories. So I probably should have known then that that's what happened, that he ate him. But who did the owl consume to have memories of Mikasa and Armin? I'm so confused. Again, excited to find out why. And genuinely love the ending of this arc too. The fact that they have reached the ocean. And this is a dream come true, especially for Armin, and how happy he is, and how close he was to not even being there to see it. I love the fact that Levi as well was like, stay away from it, it could be poisonous. It also just shows you like how sheltered they've been, how much they have been trapped as if in a bird cage, and what they've been missing out on the outside. Yeah, because it was quite a revelation that there were people on the outside, and that they aren't the last of civilization, and all of that. Yeah, honestly, my mind was just constantly being blown by a lot of the chapters. But the military and like the royalty stuff do drag it down a little bit for me. I'm not really interested in any of that. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10, might go up to a 9 at the end. Only 2 arcs left? I cannot believe how quickly I am reading this series.